Hey everybody, this is Lenny over at Chef Lenny's Home Cooking. Getting ready to do our first video for our YouTube channel. We're gonna see how this goes. Our goal here is to really tackle some things that everybody or most people enjoy eating, and a lot of people want to tackle doing or at home, making for themselves at home, but frankly they're scared. They've never really done it. They don't know the right way to do it. They've been told several different ways to do it. They've done them before and it's failed. So anyway, today we're going to go right after baby back ribs. We're going to cook them with charcoal on an old school Weber kettle style grill, indirect cooking method. And I wanted to do this because I think it intimidates people. And what has happened over the years with cooking ribs, whether it be baby backs or your St. Louis cuts and that sort of thing, it has, in an effort to make cooking the ribs easier, somehow we got to boiling them first, or all this crazy stuff that I don't really understand. I guess in certain situations, if you had to cook your ribs using only electricity, if you can't cook with charcoal and fire, this might not be the video for you. But everybody else, you're about to see some really, as good as it gets, baby back ribs made as simple as possible. We're going to show you right from the handling, the peeling of the ribs, a very simple seasoning. You can get as complicated as you want with your rub. There's a million, rubs you can buy out there. There's a million rub recipes. I prefer a much simpler flavoring profile on the ribs, and then you can make a sauce or buy a sauce. But we're going to focus on the cooking of the ribs. We're going to put a very light smoke on them using some apple wood, primarily using charcoal as the heat source. And I'm going to get the ribs out and we'll get started. Okay, so I'm going to give you a close-up on these ribs here. Let me start by saying that these are, and I prefer this, on the larger side of the baby back rib spectrum. These are running just almost about 3¼ pounds each. And what we're going to demonstrate now is the removal of the silver skin on the inside. For some of you that don't have a lot of experience with this is likely going to be the most complicated part of the task. We are going to do it safely with a butter knife, not because it's dull, and dull knives are safe. They aren't, generally speaking, but a dull knife is the right tool for the job here. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for a point of entry here, and that's why the butter knife is good, because it's hard to really do damage. Here we go. See that? Barely even needed it to get it started, but then it helps. It will go further than your hand will. And I'm wearing gloves. The ribs are slippery. The knife is slippery. If you need to just grab a little paper towel to hold on, you can see what we're doing here. We're pulling this piece of skin, but it's just hard to grip it. If you just take the paper towel and grip it, and we're going to use this knife to help it in the places where it doesn't. There we go. I want to go as easily. Look at that. Look at that. Boom. Okay. Did we miss any there? I don't think so. Okay. Let's get back to this guy. Did you see that, y'all? And we just forced our way in with even the dull side of the butter knife, for that matter, is really the side I was more aggressive with. And then we just come back here with the paper towel. I've heard it all. Screwdrivers, just all kinds of crazy techniques for this. If you just watch that carefully, you can see that, it's hard to imagine it being much easier than that. I'm going to get this cleaned up a little bit and get these ribs as dry as possible, and then we'll talk about getting them seasoned up. All right, let's get started on seasoning up these ribs. I wanted to show you those caraway, the ground caraway seeds. I have a little bit of ground caraway And I'm using olive oil. You can use whatever you want. There's really not going to be much of this left behind by the time the caraway will be there, but the oil will mostly cook away. It's really not going to be a big flavor driver of your cook. But I just use it as a medium to evenly spread. Just a little bit. That's about a tablespoon of ground caraway and about I don't know, about a quarter cup of oil. So it's pretty well diluted in there. We just want to get some moisture on your ribs so that the rest of the seasoning will stick. An old chef friend of mine used to do whole caraway seeds on when he was cooking whole hog, and he's one of my mentors, Chef John Bridie, and it was just such a great combination with the smoke and the caraway that it always stuck with me. It's always been part of my pork rubs. Okay, so we've got the ribs all rubbed down with the caraway oil, for lack of a better term. We'll put some. Let's start on the bottom again. Use some fine ground black pepper. It's one of the few applications that I prefer a fine ground black pepper than my barbecue rub. Plenty of that down there. Some kosher salt. There we go. Maybe too sparse here. Got a little garlic. I don't use garlic salt or anything like that. I'll show you that here too. This is just granulated garlic, dry garlic powder, whatever you want to call it. We'll go back, we'll repeat the process on the side. Again, it's already got the caraway oil on there. It's helping all this stuff stick to it. Okay. You know, the cool thing about barbecue is you put as much as you like. You got, you know, you got grandma that doesn't like a lot of pepper. You make one of these racks spicier than the other. Do what you want. You can put no pepper and make a spicy barbecue sauce. Although I do think having the seasoning profile on the meat when it cooks, you know, you should put some level of these seasonings. But overall, it's up to you. You're driving the bus here. And, you know, it seems, you know, maybe to some like that's heavily salting. Yeah, there'll be some loss in this process. You know, some will shake off here as I handle the meat. But you know, it's really got to penetrate. Like I said, these are 3-pound racks of ribs, and you want to have the middle of all these ribs when you cut them up later. You want it all to taste delicious. So there we go. We've just got salt, pepper, garlic, caraway in any proportion that you really like. We're all rubbed down there. You see those? And we'll light the grill up and let those flavors marry on there, and let's get the grill started. Okay, y'all, lighting of the charcoal grill. I've got a couple of fire starters. A chimney. This is the Char Griller brand chimney starter. Doesn't matter to me. The Weber one's probably a little bit better. I've used them both. For ribs, hot and fast, they're going to go about 2/3 of the cylinder. Got B&B briquettes. You can tell me that's all wrong, and whatever brand you use in the comments. Got 2 fire starters. Those babies going. We're going to set a 12-minute timer and come back. Okay, we're going to get the grill ready while the charcoal lights. We have What we have here is the Weber 26-inch kettle. Everything works the same as a Weber 22-inch kettle, just 4 inches larger. I even use the same aluminum drip pan, which we will also add hot water to just before the ribs go on. But for now, we'll just add some briquettes here at the bottom for fuel. A couple of chunks of apple wood. And when the charcoal comes off out of the chimney, we'll dump it over here and just kind of let it burn across. And that should get us plenty of time for those baby back ribs, even though they are on the larger end. You could argue maybe another 10 or 12 coals, and I'll probably do it after I stop the film now, just to be sure that we have enough heat at the end. Okay, so we're back inside. We're waiting for our timer on the charcoal. I told you all 12 minutes. We'll look at the charcoal, particularly the B&B, which happens to be my favorite for a little bit longer cook like this. It also does take a little bit longer to light. We'll check it at 12 minutes, but it could really be upwards of 15 or 16 minutes before that charcoal is ready to dump. Having a little bit of extra charcoal on the other side of the fire bricks in the Weber kettle. Those are indeed 2600 degree rated fire bricks. I recommend that over a landscaping brick. I've heard stories of them exploding, that sort of thing. I've never seen it happen. Your mileage may vary. But the fire bricks are really affordable and they're available online. And to me, they were a much more affordable alternative to like the Slow and Sear and some other pricier 304 stainless aftermarket items. And frankly, I don't use my Slow and Sear a lot, and my Slow and Sear now has signs of rust because I don't keep it clean. I just think the fire bricks for, I don't know, they're 12 or 13 bucks a piece, something like that. I've had one crack, and you could still use it, just put the pieces together, but it was after a couple of years of use, so I don't have any trouble just, buying another one once I've gotten a few years out of one. Once the charcoal is ready to dump, we'll dump it into the grill, close the lid. We're gonna run the air pretty wide open for this cook. These are what, not really a low and slow. People talk about a 3-2-1 rib. This is not that. 3-2-1, for those of you who don't know, you do, your 225 or 250, whatever your low smoking rib, for 3 hours, open smoking, and then you wrap it and cook it for another 2 hours, spritz, whatever they tell you. And then you unwrap it and cook it for another hour. And this is what I was saying earlier about when did this easy method become so much work? So I don't think this isn't going to take 6 hours. First of all, we're not going to do any wrapping of the ribs. Our bark is going to be better than the bark on those ribs that got wrapped. Our ribs will be as tender and juicy, and you'll see that. There's just no question about it. This is the way. I've cooked the ribs a lot of ways: low and slow, hot and fast, individual ribs, hot and fast. Overnight, 225, the whole 9 yards. These are the best ribs, and it's not even I like them better this way, but everyone I make them for that takes the first bite is like, what the hell is going on with these ribs? So try it out, y'all. Here we are at 12 minutes, and we're real close, but I'd like to see a little bit more burn through. I'm going to set another 2-minute timer. We'll come back and dump these coals. If your ribs are much smaller than this, there's almost no way you're going to get to probe them. But because these are fairly large racks, and I work down here at the thicker, even though it's wider up here, this end of the rack, as you all know, is a thicker, and if you can get a probe in there without really touching the bones, you're going to get some accurate readings, temperature readings. We're going to cook these right to about just a shade over 200 degrees without even looking at them, unless something goes terribly wrong. So let's get some water in that water pan and get cooking. Okay, we have our probed ribs. We have our fire, which is igniting quickly because I have the lid open, so we're going to work quickly here to get the lid closed. There is very hot water near boiling in the water pan. We have an ambient temperature probe right here, not touching anything at all, except the little guide thing, and you can see the probed ribs, our little fire situation. We'll go fully open on the top vent. For now, that's about 3/4 of the way open. The left-hand side line is closed. The middle line is halfway, and then the right-hand side, this line here is wide open. Anything past that, so we're about 3/4 of the way. Guys like to say 600 degrees, but we'll see in a few minutes what the grill grate temperature really is. Okay, guys, we are about 10 minutes into the cook, and the temperature seems to have leveled off. And what I wanted to show you, right, that's the temperature of the probe between the two racks of ribs. Now this is the temperature of the thermometer directly above the charcoal in the grill. So, these guys with their vortexes, and I have a vortex and I do wings with it, and it's great. But your grill's not 600 degrees where the food is cooking. So when these guys in forums, they put all these numbers on the internet, know what your grill temperature is. It just bumped up to about 301 degrees. So yeah, it's hot and fast because it's not 225, but 301 degrees isn't exactly 600. But I think you'll see the finish on the outside, and it just runs straight. It runs the heat so quickly to the bones. It just completes the cook so fast that it actually doesn't dry them out. The results are just amazing. I can't wait for you to see them. Let's go hang out. These are going to be, we don't have to do anything for these for a good couple hours, in my opinion. Maybe we'll check the air if this temperature fluctuates, but that's about it. Okay, so we are running just a little bit hot here. We're going to just clamp down. We're going to do about 25% closed off there, if you can see that. Maybe 20%. And then we'll go down to about half here. We got that down to about half. See if we can't get that 348. That's a little extreme. Let's see how we go here. We are coming up on about 75 minutes in. Dogs are running around. About 75 minutes in. Still running a little hot. I'm not too concerned about it. There you go. Not too bad, huh? Not too bad at all. These ribs are going pretty fast, and so we're going to go ahead, and here you can see we're now down almost like it's a low and slow smoke. There's so much hot coal already that we're never going to get down to a true low and slow type of temperature. We're already backing down into the 3 1/4 range, and it'll probably get back down around 300, and we'll just let them kind of creep across the finish line. If anything else, I'm just running ahead. You see, you're always waiting on the ribs. Are they going to be done yet? These are already 185, and it's been 80 minutes now. Okay, just about finishing up here. One of the racks is crossing the 200-degree threshold as we speak, so this is even a little late, but just to keep a little moisture on here. Okay, so what you saw me apply was just a very simple mixture. It's not what I do all the time. Sometimes I just run them dry the whole time. But since we were done, I had a schedule. And frankly, I'm killing a little time until I need to feed my family. I thought, why not brush them with a little mixture just to get them sticky? It's about, and I eyeballed it, it's about 2 parts honey to 4 parts ketchup to probably, 6 to 8 times white vinegar. A little pinch of salt into that. You can play with that ratio any way you want. You could add whatever you want to it, hot sauce, pepper flakes, whatever you want. You can make barbecue sauce. I'll probably one day put a barbecue sauce on the channel, or 10. But really, these ribs are going to be great dry, or would have been great dry. I'm just going to put this little bit of sticky coating on them that we'll put a couple of layers like a lacquer on there just as they finish up, and then we'll pull them off and rest them in a cooler until the family gets here. Stick around. Here at the end, I do just like to sear the bottom of these racks over the coals. Get that good push over the finish line. There you go. Just for a minute or so. Safely off of there. And there we go. Just like that, y'all.
Are you posting this on your page, or where are you putting this? You got a vlog going on?